Mission Mangal, let's just start talking about it. Listen, I'm not a professional reviewer, never aim to be. This is probably my first and probably my last until anything other comes which is worth reviewing. I just watched that movie last night and I'm just recollecting most of the things. I do not have any list of things that I want to talk about. It's just the experience that I had being enthusiast towards space technology and ISRO for a long time and being a part of it. I think I should talk about, is it appropriate whatever they showed, or is it perfectly synchronizing with what actually happens when people are working at ISRO? I'm a very young scientist over there, so I do not have the experience of 30 years, and people who definitely were part of Mangalyaan and are part of Chandrayaan are very experienced, and a lot of hierarchy goes on over there, and a list of people, and basically the chain of command that goes on in ISRO. Those are the things that probably Mangalyaan was not able to capture that much. I'm really happy and very thankful that they made a movie on it. I was very happy, very excited when the first trailer for Rocketry came, and that is the story of Nambi Narayan, and I'm still waiting for that movie. I don't know what happened to it. If you know what happened, comment it down below. But all of a sudden, I think 1 month ago, I saw the trailer of this Mission Mangal and I was jaw dropped, like my jaw was open for the first 10 to 15 seconds. The way they showed GSLV Mark III in the photography and the interest that they took in the perfect design of the rocket, and they showed everything very well, and the sound production and the way he said that there is no science without experiment, and the dialogue and everything was perfect. And one of my favorite actors, Akshay Kumar, was in it, so I was very happy. And Akshay Kumar himself did a very good role, and I'm not someone who watches a lot of movies, so I cannot compare it with other movies, and I cannot talk a lot about the acting and all, but I am going to talk about how they showed ISRO and what actually happens in reality. So this is not a perfect review for people who just want a movie review, because I'm not good at that, but I'm going to show you sides which any other reviewer cannot show, because I've been studying about the history of ISRO for a long time and I was passionate about getting into it. I was definitely sure that this is a place I want to work in, and when they make a movie on that, then it definitely gives you those goosebumps. And I'm a very fortunate person. I was actually in BARC when Parmanu movie came, and fortunately now this happens. So okay, I'm going to just talk about it. See, the way the movie started, right? It was basically some launch of GSLV Mark III, and they were calling it Fat Boy, and there were some little changes that they even changed the symbol of ISRO. I don't know why, because I'm pretty sure that they got all the permission, but maybe it was some confidential thing. They changed the symbol, and at the same time they were not able to call it Mark III, but were calling it Fat Boy. It is called Fat Boy, but the actual term that goes on is Mark III, which is the heaviest lifting rocket that ISRO is having. Recently there was a launch for Chandrayaan 2. It was using Mark III too, and yes, then they showed PSLV rocket 2, and it was perfect. The rocket itself, definitely they consulted some of the ISRO scientists and they made it perfectly, right? All the stages were intact, all right, everything was perfect. And they showed Sriharikota very well, right? It was, everything was the way it should be. And basically you see any launch sequence on Doordarshan, or even now it's available on YouTube live once goes on, it won't be showing you in that way, the way that movie shows. And that is something that was very fascinating to me, and I think Fox Century is a part of it, and very good production has been added to this movie, so I'm very happy about that. But the movie starts in a way that launch is going to happen, and the starting was amazing. They really started it in a very good manner, and Akshay Kumar, the way he is, was very funny, and the way he handled the press was actually something that was very correctly shown. There's a book by Aravadan. It is on history on ISRO, and that is something that what was UR Rao, the initial chairmen of ISRO, those were the people, even Satish Dhawan. These are the people who said that if something goes wrong, it is the responsibility of the leader to take 100% responsibility, that it was my mistake. If things goes right, it is your job to give full credit to your team. and that is something that was shown in the beginning by Akshay Kumar, that he took the fault on his shoulder, that whatever mistake she made, the turbo pump issue was actually very correctly shown, that they really got into the technical issues, and I'm pretty sure that they talked to some of the scientists of ISRO. They spent proper amount of time, but there can always be something better, right? For example, the actors themselves, I do not think that they lived the life of ISRO scientists. They lived there for like 4 or 5 months, wherever you will see a lot of actors actually do that to get the feel of that, right? But everything was okay, and then something weird started to happen, okay? That girl, I do not know, Vidya Balan, whatever role she played, she woke up in Bangalore that morning, and all of a sudden she's in mission control center in Sriharikota. How is that even possible? Like, how can you travel from Bangalore to Sriharikota in 2 hours? It takes from Chennai to Sriharikota, and it takes around like 2 to 3 hours, right? So I do not know what they were trying to show, that the launch pad is in Bangalore itself and not in Sriharikota, but everything was controlled in Bangalore itself. They did not show anything about VSSC, LPSC, or Trivandrum area, or even SAC, that is Ahmedabad. ISRO is small only compared to Department of Atomic Energy. No, Department of Atomic Energy has humongous, like 30-40 centers, but ISRO mainly like I would say 4 or 5 main centers that are there. They could have shown, they only showed Sriharikota, which was very well shown, like it was perfectly made, what is actually over there. They took the photographs and they made the animations properly, so everything was perfect according to that. And then they somehow started to show a lot of women empowerment, and that's perfectly fine. There are a lot of women working in ISRO, and I'm not going to get into that topic, but a lot of things that could have been bypassed, right? They showed some of the club scenes and all. See, I am an ISRO enthusiast, and I get goosebumps when I see rockets, all right? So it is very difficult to satisfy a person like me, because I've actually read a lot about ISRO history, all right? For example, they showed a picture, right? Like, this is APJ Abdul Kalam. Perfectly correct. That is APJ Abdul Kalam building a rocket by his own hands in somewhere around 1960s, right? But the second person who was not wearing a shirt, I'll put a picture over here, it's a very famous picture. The second person was Aravamudan, and a lot of people, like Aravamudan probably is the most underlined scientist of ISRO. That is one of the first scientists of ISRO, you know. I'll tell you a little bit of story about Aravamudan. He has written a book, and I love that book. Everybody should read that if you are enthusiast of ISRO, right? Now, he left Department of Atomic Energy in 1960 and joined ISRO, because that was, at that time, it wasn't even ISRO. It was something kind of a startup run by Vikram Sarabhai. And Vikram Sarabhai was completely investing all his money, that whatever he had, the business of his parents and what PRL he was running, he was investing all the money into space programs on his own. And he picked 6 Indian scientists, basically 5 was from PRL itself, and 1, Arumudan, was from Department of Atomic Energy. He was chosen from there. He resigned his job and he came over here to whatever was going to become ISRO in future. These were sent to NASA to study over there for around a year, and then they came back and established the sounding rocket centers in Trivandrum. That's where it all started, right? And he was Tamil, and APJ Abdul Kalam was Tamil. They spoke Tamil, and that is something that I liked a lot. That one moment he pretended that he called and he started speaking such fluent Tamil, and that was very good, that you took notice of the small things. That when in the beginning also he called the guy Tambi, right? Tambi is something that you call younger brother, huh? That's the term that goes on, like Chotu you call, no, in Hindi they say Tambi, and that minor detail just impresses people like me who are very enthusiastic about these things, right? But that in that picture they showed that the second person is the person sitting right in front of me, that is the director right now, or the chairman, whoever he was supposed to be, probably the role who was mimicking K. Radhakrishnan, right? But that's something like you're deviating from the history. That's something that you should not do, but it is a movie, so I would say that okay, you can play a little bit with the story, But yeah, you should at least have given him credit at the end. At the end, you were showing all the chairmen of ISRO, and you showed it perfectly correctly, like K7 was at that time director of VSSC, and you were showing K7's photo and all, and K Radhakrishnan and Kiran Kumar all were there. It was all perfect. You should have shown a little bit of Varamudan, but it is okay. But that in that place they changed the history a little bit. But I would say that it is okay. But it does not make sense now that the picture was from 1960s and you are showing 2014. How is he still working in ISRO? A person's career is 35 years. I would agree that people in ISRO, even after retirement, might be a part. But that was a little bit of a mistake. And a lot of things that this is not how things goes. What they were showing that it goes like a startup, right? And it is government funded startup, that you are sitting in one room and 6 people are actually building the Mangalyaan mission, right? But that does not happen. There will be different teams and it will be in different centers throughout the country, and different parts will be like 6 people. I think around 20 to 30 people will be involved only in satellite. Around, like, if you see in the wide picture, around hundreds of people will be involved in the launch vehicle itself. A different team will be designing the trajectory. So it does not go like that. So I understand that it is very difficult to show the storyline in that, because when thousands of people are involved, how will you show story? But you could have shown a story in a different manner. I pick a person and show his work. Why are you making him do all the work? But in one point it showed that Akshay Kumar said that I have to go to Trivandrum, then I have to go to SAC, and he was working. He was very, very dedicated. I liked the role of Akshay Kumar. I liked his acting, but this is just my suggestion, that the role that he played of a leader, at some points they could have made it better. Like, I'm just suggesting in the direction of story, that a leader, he was very dynamic, but when things went bad, at that moment he should have shown a little bit of his self-motivation. He should have motivated his team, but he himself was frustrated, and then by luck all of a sudden sun shined and then they did the launch. But a lot of things were correctly shown, that at the moment that they were not able to get the signal when the satellite was orbiting Mars, that was perfectly shown. And if you want to know the technical details of what actually happened, there's a documentary on Mangalyaan mission, Mars Orbital Mission. I think it is available on YouTube. I'm sure that it is available on Hotstar, so you can check it out. It will show you the better picture, and there the chairmen themselves will be talking about the mission and how they actually did it, and everything will be shown over there. So see, I'm very, very happy that they made this movie, and I'm waiting eagerly for that what was that, rocketry, the story of Nambi Narayan, because at that moment you can capture story of one person, and that will be very, very interesting. But I don't know, so for some reason it is at pause. But it's good that they are making movies. I'm really happy. And at one point they showed that why you actually wanted to be a scientist, and it was very correctly shown that yes, before it was a dream and now it is just a 9-to-5 job for you, and things change with time and people start thinking about the relationships and their family, and it becomes just a source of money and you are losing enthusiasm. And that actually happens, and I've seen it happening through my own eyes. But yes, they showed it very correctly, that every now and then we have to look back of why we actually wanted to come over here. They showed things very well. I'm very happy with movie. Obviously you have to add that tint of Bollywood, and every now and then there has to be a song playing in which they need to dance. But what to do? This is how things are going on. It's okay, because you have to please the common public. See, people like me are enthusiasts, and we are very small population of this country. I understand that, and very small population will be actually interested in space technology. But I know that people like me exist, and it is very difficult to please someone like me. For example, if you made a movie on Gracie, they are probably the most dynamic family of mixed martial arts history, and you make a movie on that, and everybody who is a jiu-jitsu fan cannot be pleased. I'm pretty sure about that, because we have actually studied, and it is your job to put it all in 3 hours. It is impossible. I understand making a movie is difficult, and for me to criticize a movie is stupid, because I've never made a movie. Okay, it was a very good movie. I really liked it, and definitely the graphics, and especially the sound effect and the background music and the songs itself were very, very good, and I really liked it. So graphics 10 out of 10, sound production 10 out of 10, storyline it's okay, 8 out of 10. You could have consulted more of ISRO scientists to see the actual life that goes on over there and actually how things work, but I understand it will be a very difficult task to show it all. Maybe you can make a series on ISRO, please do. Alright, but thanks for making this movie, and this is not a perfect review, but this is just my feelings of how I felt about the movie, and that's it. I'm going to end this over here, and I'll see all of you in the next one. Till then, bye.